Okay, welcome back to the channel. Talking about airgun silencers. I've got one here, look. You can see all the way through that one. This is one I bought for my airgun, my MP40. MP40, I like that, it's my favourite one. But there's a lot of different silencers that you can get, and they do screw on or clamp on or whatever for your air rifle, and they do genuinely cut down the sound, which is something good, something I want, because that appeals to me. This Crossman Shockwave I've got here has got this quiet fire system, which is allegedly have a built-in silencer. I haven't taken it apart to see what's in it, but there's a big difference between air rifle silencers and air rifle silencers and firearm silencers. For example, with a firearm, you've got flames pouring down a barrel, products of combustion, which you've got to try and shush as it's coming down, and they will set fire to anything that's inside this tube. So you're pretty much restricted to what you can put in there to try and deaden and quieten the products of combustion. And the other thing with the firearm is the bullet may go supersonic, which will make another bang. So even though it's simultaneous, you only hear one bang, but you are actually hearing two bangs. One is the product of combustion escaping from the end of the gun, and the other one is the bullet going supersonic, like Concorde is going through that sound barrier. And how they get over that is they put less gunpowder in the round to start off with, so the bullet never reaches supersonic speeds. They're called subsonics. You can buy subsonic ammunition, but we're not talking about firearms, we're talking about air guns, because air guns are a lot more versatile, because you can get a lot more creative with what you put inside this tube to try to deaden. Now this one is a really cheap one. This is under €20. I think it's on a 13 or a 14mm anti-clockwise thread, but all different guns come in different sizes and shapes, and rather than go and spend the stupid amount of money on an air rifle silencer, you'll find that you can buy a cheap one and just see what's inside it. This has got a spring, and it's got a load of sponge rubber baffles spaced out inside the. Very cheap and nasty, but I guess it does the job, doesn't it? It deadens it a bit. But I'd be more inclined to go and buy something like this and then go down to the plumbers merchants, and you can buy all kinds of things to put inside there to get creative. I would probably buy some nylon plastic pipe, and I'd cut some sections off and then cut them again so that they expand, and use them as spacers, and buy a load of rubber washers and put as many washer spacer all the way down, and just see how you get on. You don't even need to put that spring back in the middle, so long as you have your little ball, your little BB has got, or your pellet has got a clear way through it, and it's not going to get snagged anywhere. You could put cardboard inside it. You could like I said, get creative. You can come up with all your own ideas for quietening it down. Why go out and buy an expensive one and find it's not that quiet? You'd have to get a decibel meter on it, wouldn't you, to register how much you'd be being successful or not. But you could seriously. We have played around with them in the past, and we've got them really quiet. And that's just using rubber washers, and because what you want to do is you want to slow down the gas as the gas comes in. You've got no products of combustion with an air gun, especially not with a CO2, because CO2 they use to put fires out, don't they? So you've got no heat to worry about. So all you've got to do is slow that expanding gas down, and the more little segments you can put in there where it'll expand into, stop and back off and stop and back off and stop and back off, the better, because you can reduce that decibel output at the end. And I would recommend just buying a cheap one for less than €20 that fits on your gun and experiment. I've known people put hair rollers inside them and cotton wool, and even from under the sink they've gone down there and found some wire wool, and they've just messed about and just experimented. It's much more fun to experiment, I think, than just buy something off the shelf and hope it works. Anyway, what's best for you? Air rifle silencers. I would really seriously like to have a really good air rifle silencer that makes it as quiet as possible. That's just me. I mean, I know kids who buy motorbikes and the first thing they do is they spend a couple of £100 on an aftermarket exhaust. You know, they take off the perfectly good exhaust that's on it and then they put this really noisy exhaust on it that sounds like it's broken, and they'll probably snap off a few studs and things on the way, and then they'll drive down the road thinking everyone thinks they're amazing because everyone's looking at them, and they're not looking at them thinking, wow, isn't he noisy? They're looking at them thinking, you are really annoying, you idiot. And then the police pull them up for making excessive decibels and they get a fine. And they always put the old exhaust back on with all tears and fines to pay, and then they realise they've broken a stud or something, and so it goes back to the garage to pay even more money to fix it back how it was in the first place. Whereas if you have a nice quiet thing to start off with, then nobody notices you've even gone by. Thanks for watching.